And because you love them, you want to serve them. That tendency to engage in loving service is your essential characteristic, your dharma. Whether you are a Christian, a Mohammedan, or a Hindu, this characteristic will remain. Suppose today you are a Christian, tomorrow you may become a Hindu, but your serving mood, that loving spirit, will stay with you. Therefore, the tendency to love and serve others is your dharma, or your religion. This is the universal form of religion. Okay, so Monday is Ekadasi. Tomorrow and Sunday, Navya Swamis will be here to give our class. We haven't had any Swamis visiting here, so it'll be nice if that starts again. And I'm just reminding everyone who's listening that we need help in the kitchen on Sunday. The devotees who've been cooking the pakoras for the Sunday feast for the last 10 years, every Sunday, never missing, is moving back to India to take care of his parents. So we don't have anybody. I've asked 2 people who both refused, so I'm still asking, but in a community of 1,000 people, if I cannot get 4 people once a month to cook pakoras for the Sunday feast, I don't even feel like having a Sunday feast. So please, if you know of anyone who could volunteer for this service, please ask them and let me know. Here are the devotees who assisted their spiritual master dressing the deities today. Shishi Radhasham Sundar, Astasaki Devi Dasi, Chocha Radhasham Sundar, Leela Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Akuti Devi Dasi, Chocha Krishna Balaram, Karuna Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Gornatai, Sharla Devi Dasi, Chocha Gornatai, Radha Krishna Das, Gurus and Gorna Sringadev, Parampara Das, Pangovinda Krishna's giving pastoral.
Jai. Thank you. It's funny, she was reading the same thing we were thinking about. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you for all coming. You give a photo. You want to put that one on me right now? Later. Hare Krishna. First of all, I'd like to welcome all of you to participate in this most wonderful, most important part of our sadhana is hearing, the first thing Prabhupada says. So I thank you for that. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajika Acharya Ashtatara Shata Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Das Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Mathura Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Alachwani Ramaniti Dham ki jai. Ganga Maiya Jamuna Maiya ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar Krishna Balaram Gaurnita Shubha Darshanarthi ki jai. Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Path ki jai. Samavita Vaishnava Binda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Pramanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today we are reciting Srimad Bhagavatam in ISKCON Alachua temple. And we are reciting second canto, chapter 1. And verse number 12. So just to remind, it's my habit. When we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, what form of Krishna we are meditating? Someone? I did mention 3 times before.
That's why you have to repeat it.
Huh? Yes, Vasudeva, where is that form? He is on the lap of Mother Yashoda in the cow shed, cow barn. The name-giving ceremony was not a big festival because out of fear of Kamsa, they had a hidden, unexpected, early morning Gargacharya came from Mathura, was not even invited by Nanda Maharaj. It was out of fear, spiritual, emotional, and material calculation, both. Spiritual, emotional, because Vasudev Maharaj belongs to Kshatriya. And he is thinking, that's my son. Nanda Maharaj doesn't know. I have to do the name-giving ceremony and the grain ceremony, everything by the Kshatriya standard. That was his emotional. So that the child, even though he's God, he has idea, he is God, will grow up as a macho, wonderful, handsome Kshatriya boy. And Nanda Maharaj has no idea, but he has a respect to Gargacharya. And Nanda Maharaj belongs to Vaishya family. So when Gargacharya says, I have secret news, we should do this name-giving ceremony right now. Right now? You mean now? Yes. Where? Shh, nobody should know. Because conscious spies are everywhere. We can do in a hiding place in a cow barn. So anyhow, there's a beautiful pastimes. But where Krishna was on the lap of Mother Yashoda, he stick out his beautiful lotus feet with all those symbols. Sudarshan Chakra is right below the big toes, like you can meditate. Actually, all Brajavashi knows this lotus footprint all the time. There's evidence on Kaliya's pastime where they did not know where Krishna went, but they noticed where the footprint is, fresh footprint, and they followed, they all came to Kaliya. So like this, at that time, Nanda Maharaj was there and Gargacharya was uttering the name. At one point when he said, he is also son of Vasudev, he was telling the truth. But did Nanda Maharaj understand? Yes, he understood according to him. Oh, my son, probably some life he was born as a son of Vasudeva. Interesting. So, but then revelation took place. In the calculation, he found, oh my God, that's my object of life. Life after life, I'm meditating to that Supreme Personality Godhead. Is this boy? What should I do now? Big puja. But then he went back. Even though in front of Mother Jashoda, Rohini Maya was there, Balaram was there also on the left, and Nanda Maharaj, and hidden, the guard was saying that nobody should know that we're doing this. So it was not a big party, but we can do party on his birthday, a name-giving ceremony, but no, in Vrindavan they didn't. But what happened when he, in his calculation, he found this, then he was thinking of paying obeisances. Can you imagine, you meet Krishna or Mahaprabhu face to face, what are you going to do? You immediately bow down and you want to do something to please him. So he wants to do, but he's scared. Because if he reveals that he is the Supreme Lord to Nanda and Jashoda, then what will happen? That Nanda, baby Krishna's pastime will be disturbed, disrupt. Their affection feeling will be disrupt. So he going through a big tornado in the head. He has a heart, you know, the war between head and heart. Anybody ever heard? Did you ever face like this? His head, he calculated, he ascertained 100%, this is my object of life, love. And he is the highest object of worship, absolute truth. But in his heart, he wants to express his humbleness, submissiveness, worshipping, love and everything, but he can't do it. It's worse. You know, it gets worse in Krishna Lila because it's a nourishment of the heart. Mother Jashoda says, do you see something? You're not speaking, Gargacharya. You see something? Maybe my son should touch your feet. Then you can give him blessing. Can you imagine? You are in front of Krishna. You finally found out he is the origin supreme. And Mother Jashoda put Krishna at the feet of Gargacharya. Gargacharya is thinking, oh my God, I'm supposed to touch the feet. What is going on here? What should I do? But he's scared. If he expresses little emotional problem, then Mother Jashoda will say, do you see something wrong? Something bad, inauspicious in my son's future? So Gargacharya didn't know what to do, how to do. This form, this revelation is called Vasudev form. It's such a secret. You know why I went into it? Anyway, I won't say that. But somebody opposed. He said, why Prabhupada introduced Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya? I said, well, you're senior to me. You are a disciple of him. Why don't you tell me? Say, I don't know. That's why I'm just thinking. Other outside, they don't do it. But then we went into tracing, searching out in Bhagavatam and difference. Oh my God. This is the best thing Prabhupada did to us. They introducing to chant. And in the beginning, Sattam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Krishna is in every page, he is in the deity form, but my consciousness is not pure. So to purify the consciousness, we should evoke that mercy of Vasudeva. So please fold your hand and chant loudly. Repeat after me 3 times. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Together. Narayanam Namaskritam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nittam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki mukhaṁ karati vācālam pangullangayate girim jatkripa tamaham vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. So today we are going to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Synonyms. Kim means what it is, what is Pramattasya of the builder. So while we recite the song, you are aware what actually happened. This is one of the most secret verse. Actually, every verse is like this. But when I read this morning, I was like overwhelmed by the way Prabhupada put the purport. So hope you all can take advantage of it. Bahubi by many, Parakshay inexperience. Higher 9 years, iha, in this world, varam, better, muhurtam, a moment, viditam, conscious, ghatate, one can try for, sreyashe, in the matter of supreme interest, jataha, by them. Kim pramattasya bahubi, Paraksher kayaneriha Baram muhurtam viditam Ghatate sreyase jataha Kim pramattasya bahubi Paraksher hayaneriha Baram muhurtam viditam Ghatate sreyase jataha. Please chant. Krim pramatasya bahubi Baram muhurtam viditam Krim pramatasya bahubi Muhurtam viditam Sreyase jataha King Pramatasya Bahubi King Pramatasya Bahubi Paraksharanariha Paraksharanariha Param Muhurtam Viditam Gate Sreyase Jataha. Mothers.
Kim Pramatasya Bahubi
Krim Pramatasya Bahubi Paraksher Hayanariha
Paramurtam Viditam
Paramurtam Viditam
Ratate Shreyaseta
Ratate Jayase Jata
Kim Pramatasya Bahubi
Kim Pramatasya Bahubi
Shire Hayanariha
Paraksher Hayanariha
Tam Viditam
Param Muhurtam Viditam
Shreyaseta
Ghatate Seyase Jataha
Pramatasya Bahubi
Kim Pramatasya Bahubi Paraksher Hayanariha Param Muhurtam Viditam Bhajate Seyase Jataha. So the translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted? Inexperience by years in this world. Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. You could not say this for karmi or jnani or anything else. It is only the supremacy of bhakti can talk like this. The supremacy of bhakti. I hope the whole Alachua devotee are in love with Bhagavatam. And we should be in love with the speaker and the translator, means Sukdev Goswami, Srila Prabhupada who translated also. We should be in love with them. I remember Radha Govinda Maharaj, he came here a few times, I don't know, maybe 10 years, 8 years, something like that. I don't remember the exact time. But he was glorifying the Bhagavatam. He said, I hope we understand how rare hearing or discussing Bhagavatam. That when the moment Sukdev Goswami is about to speak to Parikshit Maharaj, there are different scenery took place. And one scenery was the demigod has, like in Brahmapuri, Brahma has his own house, but he has his office. Office is in the Bhumanda. His house is in the Brahmaloka. We have to separate this in order to reconcile all the past time. So when he was in the house, office, in a four corner, there is a four demigods, the special demigods, Borundev, Indradev, Jamaraj, like this. So they all came immediately. He said, on behalf of all the heavenly citizen and everyone, please do not speak Bhagavatam. So Sukdev Goswami is conversing with them. He said, why? He said, because this is like a beyond anybody can reach, anybody can attain in life. As a demigod, we don't have access of this. What is the problem King Parikshit has? We will give them long life. He can come and stay in the heaven. So those who are seeker for sense enjoyment, give up that idea. This is higher than that, million times higher than that. So then Sukdev Goswami looked at Parikshit Maharaj and looked at the audience. That time Narad Muni, Vyasdev, they're all there. Guru, Param Guru, everybody came there. Prabhupada said from Caspian Sea, Kashyapa Muni came. I didn't know that Kashyapa Muni lives in Middle East somewhere. According to Prabhupada, it was very nice. It was thousands and thousands of all the dignitaries came from all over the world. But Sukdev Goswami looked at Parikshit Maharaj and looked at all the citizens of Kali Yuga in a glance. And he said, no, I should give them the highest one time in their life, the highest goal. So we should take this seriously. So I'm going to pray to Prabhupada and all of you. Please help me and bless me and pray for me while I'm reciting the Mangalacharan. So I can say something what I heard from Srila Prabhupada and our Acharyas. That will purify my heart. Also you can take away some that you can use it to progress. Om Ajnanati Mirandasa Genanjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurve Namo Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadatisha Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Panchakalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhupaeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo Namam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So we are going to read the purport, but I felt this purport is so condensed, I want to dilute a little bit with my level, because I'm very low level and Prabhupada's purport is so complete. I'm serious. I'm not trying to glorify Prabhupada artificial. This one purport is enough to get complete realization in this life. It's so condensed form. I have a online, but there's some noise. Let's see. Mother Sudevi Dasi, whoever you are, can you mute, please? I cannot mute somehow. So Srila Prabhupada's purport. Srila Sukdev Goswami instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. Isn't so complete? Means if you want to progress and make life successful, you will take complete shelter of holy name. It's so nice the way Prabhupada writes. In order to encourage the king who had only 7 remaining days of life, Srila Sukdev Goswami asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problems of life. Better to live for a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interests to be fulfilled. So I will stop here. I want to ask you, what are the problems we have, you think? Do we have problem? Majority of people do not even know what the problem is. You know why? There is a chronic pain in our foreign land with this foreign body, subtle body and physical body. But Krishna, out of merciful nature, he also gave the painkiller. So when you have a chronic pain, you take a painkiller, what happened? Pain is gone? Help me. No. But you don't experience. You see people dying, but you don't believe that it will be a painful or you will die. You see people are suffering old age, but it doesn't bother you. This is the infection of painkiller called sense gratification. Now, I'm not against painkiller, but don't just depend on painkiller. Prabhupada told this to that professor in Mexico when she was complaining about why not help the poor and elderly senior, only chanting, dancing, book distribution, knowledge, 5 times classes in Mexico, in case Ramana Prabhu confirmed also. Yes, they had 5 classes every day. Prabhupada said they need it. Maybe I need it too. I mean, I do more or less 5 classes. So it's very nice. So what is the problem? You know what's the main suffering? I tell you, I mentioned this also once before, maybe last year. To get what you don't want and you don't get what you really need and you want. Focus very deeply. Out of 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, I love Bhagavad Gita, I mentioned this many times. I love these 4 verses, give these 4 conclusions. Even in my own life, I saw, whenever I would say, Krishna says, Dukkhalayam Ashashradam, Anudarshanam, you should see this every day. There is a misery, you should talk about birth, death, old age every day. Then you ruin the family enjoyment. What is family enjoyment? Not family enjoyment, is the sense gratification that I'm this body. Yes, that is, it doesn't ruin, it just doesn't excite. So what is the suffering? Somebody? Little more.
To get what we don't want, and not get what we really want.
Thank you. We really need, Prabhupada will give in the purport, but the Prabhupada, one sentence he said, people don't even know what the problem is. So when you preach, they think, I have a PhD, I got a MD, or I have a good house, I have a good family, I'm fine. I don't need God, I am fine. But they don't actually know, they cannot detect their own consciousness. What is the real suffering that actually meant, that presented by the Hare Krishnas? So that's why that suffering was originally caused. Where this idea come from? That origin of that suffering.
Separation from Krishna by doing
Little more. You're being nice, mother. Thank you.
envy of Krishna.
Yeah. Forgetfulness caused. Separation from God, but everybody don't feel. But it's true. Krishna gave very clear. Krishna bhuli seiji bhagavancha kare achedite mayatare jhapotiya dhare. The forgetfulness. Apathy to devotional service, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, cause impersonalism. From impersonalism, loneliness. Anybody ever heard those words? From loneliness, depression. You think you need somebody always to be happy. Actually, the soul can be completely satisfied if can come to the soul level. Just like in my chanting life, I traced back, I was really meditating one time, and Jayadata Maharaj helped me a lot. He says, it's good. If you can edit your own thought, own consciousness, very good. Keep doing it, Pranavina. I said, okay, bless me. So actually in the beginning, I was happy. You know why? Because you run away from the material. You face to the spiritual world, spiritual devotee. But then when the purification started, you feel like, I'm missing something. I need help. I need happy. Because the operation started. But it's a misunderstanding. They just some or other, sometime we go off, go back to the sense enjoyment. We're not against sense enjoyment, but it has its own place. So, if somebody do not come to the soul level, if I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'll feel like, what is the difference before chanting and after chanting? I don't see any difference. Is there any difference before chanting and after chanting? I really ask myself this question many times. I still look at my old small notebook. I write every day little. And at one point I thought there was no difference. No, there has to be difference. So anyway, I went down, deep down to chanting and meditating, chanting and praying and praying and praying and praying and praying and praying. If you go down below the physical level to the subtle level, you still have a problem. You go deep down to the soul level, you feel satisfaction. Then you really come to a point, those who are not chanting are leading an artificial life, superficial life. You convince. Those who are not going deep down to the soul level, they will be deprived. But we need to encourage. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Now, okay, we first understood what is the cause of suffering. What are the sufferings? And what is the cause of suffering? Forgetfulness. Now, what is the solution of that suffering? Krishna gave 5 things. 18th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 64 to 69 is the conclusion of entire life. I'll say in a shorter 5 way. And I'm going to ask after the class. I'm sorry. That's my habit. And I like that habit. Think of Krishna. Worship him. Serve him. Surrender to him. Share this knowledge with others. And if you do these 5 things, 1868, Krishna gives the conclusion. Jaidam paramam guyam mad bhakteshu avidashyati bhaktim mai param krittam ame bhakshasya samshaya. If you do this, Krishna says 2 things. I will give you love for me. And I'll take you back to Godhead. And the next verse, Prabhupada quote this many. There is no servant. If you do these 5 things, Krishna says there is no servant in this world now or in future will be greater than that. What are the 5 things? Somebody help me. Think of him. Worship him. Serve him. Surrender to him. Share. You have to do 5 things. This is your purpose-driven life. This is what ISKCON gives. Krishna has a purpose. He explains this. Prabhupada even said the first verse of 18th chapter. He said the Bhagavad Gita is finished. 18th chapter is summary of, you read the first sloka of purport Prabhupada writes. The Bhagavad Gita finished by 17th chapter. 18th chapter he summarized the entire discussion. And the purpose is given there. Krishna has a purpose. Why he came and what he wants us to have. And Prabhupada has a purpose. ISKCON has a purpose. Am I with that purpose? That's the question I ask myself every day. So this is the solution of that suffering. Now, when you practice this, there are a few things you have to do. Tolerance. You know tolerance? Anybody ever heard that word? Tolerance? I found in Bhagavad Gita 4 types of tolerance you have to do if you want to get these 5 things success. One thing is that you may have temptations, so many. You have to. I mean, in my life, believe or not, I was probably the most lusty man in the whole creation. I felt that way. But if it works for me, rascal like me, anybody can control. You can restrain by the inner connection of Prabhupada. You pray. It's not that I succeeded. I failed. You can get succumbed. But if you pray to Prabhupada, pray to those Sukdev Goswami personality who has proven like that. Wash the feet of those great Matajis or Prabhujis in our movement who actually succeeded there. I did. They allowed. I would say. I cannot say I did it, but they allowed. And it works. It is not in the philosophy of Chaitanya Charitamrita that devotees' foot wash water will affect. It affects Prabhus and mothers. I'm serious. The rascal like me, if I can get benefited, anybody can get benefited because they are all above me. So 4 things. One is you can restrain unnecessary sense control. Second, tolerance is when you meet someone, you feel like to tell so many things, like impose to that person, whether close friend or any devotee. You can control. You must learn how to control. No need to impose my idea to others. I used to do that. That's why. Even in the class, if you remember many years back, I would have like a big mouth. I still have big mouth. But Krishna allows me so many classes I go. It's so nice. Prabhupada gives. So that is also necessary. And the third what I found from Bhagavad Gita. If anybody wants reference, I don't want to go to the sloka because itself takes like 1 hour. That tolerate when somebody wants to say something, but you want to immediately react, tolerate. Don't. Believe me, it's the best thing I did in my life. I'm still indebted to Mother. One Mataji in the temple, the back of the deity room. I said, they spread rumors like this. I mentioned this before. What should I do? He said, Pran Govinda Das. This is your chance to learn how to tolerate. I took it very seriously. Mother Mantri, I'm eternally indebted to her. My mind was not agreeing, but I tried and tried and tried, and it works. But after some time, not easily. Even then you fail. When some devotee talks, you feel like to immediately respond, or you think you have a better idea. No, just tolerate. That person wants to say something, let them say. Krishna tolerated. Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. How many slokas spoken by Krishna? Anybody knows? None. It's all Arjuna speaking. Did Krishna say, come on, big mouth, stop? No. This is how the Vaishnava, actually Krishna exhibited this. And the fourth one is very easy. Whatever success, whatever you have achieved or something, you don't need to burst it out to everybody. It is the grace of Krishna and Prabhupada that given to me or to you. We have to just cherish in that relationship. How do you do that? Express grateful attitude every day to Prabhupada and Krishna. Then this tolerance will develop. These are just a simple thing. I want to go to Prabhupada's purport. I have a problem, like I prepare something more than I could. Okay, I'm just going to go straight to Prabhupada's purport. It's a beautiful purport, unbelievable purport. Okay, the supreme, Prabhupada says here, the supreme interest of life is eternal, with full knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of the material world and are engaged in the animal propensities of the eat, drink, and be merry type of life are simply wasting their lives by the unseen passing away of valuable years. We should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success. And the easiest possible procedures to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then Prabhupada says, in the previous verse, we have discussed this point to a certain extent, and we may further be enlightened on the different types of offenses committed unto the feet of the holy name. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu has quoted many passages from the authentic scriptures and has applied. Okay, the spelling mistake in my computer. Abel supported the statement in the matters of offenses at the feet of the holy name. From Vishnu Jamala Tantra, Srila Jiva Goswami has proven that one can be liberated from the effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Quoting from the Markandeya Purana, Sri Goswami Ji, sometimes Prabhupada uses that word Goswami Ji. Sri Goswami Ji says that one should neither blaspheme the devotee of the Lord nor indulge in hearing others. We are engaged in belittling a devotee of the Lord. A devotee should try to restrict the belly fire by cutting out his tongue. I'm not suggesting that, but Prabhupada gave a solution also. Just wait. Being unable to do so, one should commit suicide rather than hear the blaspheming of the devotee of the Lord. Now Prabhupada gives conclusion. He writes, the conclusion is that one should neither hear or allow qualification of a devotee of the Lord. As far as distinguishing the Lord's holy name from the names of the demigod, the revealed scripture disclose 10.41. Everybody knows, right? Jat Jat Vibhati Mat Sattam. Prabhupada didn't put it, but did he put there? Because sometimes you see the different version. No, same. 1041. That all extraordinarily powerful beings are but parts and parcel of the supreme energetic Lord Krishna. Except for the Lord himself, everyone is subordinate. No one is independent of the Lord. Since no one is more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Lord, Supreme Lord, no one's name can be as powerful as that of the Lord. By chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. Therefore, one should equalize the supreme holy name of the Lord with any other name. Brahma, Shiva, and any other powerful God can never be equal to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The powerful holy name of the Lord can certainly deliver one from sinful effects. But one who desires to utilize this transcendental potency of the holy name of the Lord in one's sinister activities is the most degraded person in the world. Such persons are never excused by the Lord or by any agent of the Lord. One should therefore utilize one's life in glorifying the Lord by all means, without any offense. Such activity of life, even for a moment, is never to be compared to the prolonged life of ignorance, like the lives of the tree, other living entity who may live for thousands of years without prosecuting spiritual advancement. So I'm just going to speak few minutes what I understood from this purport, and then I'll stop here. Prabhupada repeated one thing 3 times. I hope you caught it also, not just me. What is the value of long life? That's my topics. 3 topics, but one is, what is value of long life? Actually, we talk this off and on. You know what is the value of long life? There is just no shelter in material arrangement. First, you have to think negative. In progression, in order for mind to cooperate with you, you have to give negative first, then positive. If you look at that, Bhajahure Manasri Nanda Nandana, in that song, talking to the mind, what is the first thing? Negative. What is the futile? This life, what will happen? And then positive. Sravana Kirtana, do this. If we do this art, it works always. So here I found that few days back, we had one devotee. He visits sometime, but he's not in the class. But generally he visits. Very nice senior devotee, disciple of Prabhupada. And he was revealing that how material nature continuously battered him again and again and again and again. And the result of all that is that the devotee is still here to talk about it. And so we talked, and that is your redeeming quality. That even though material nature smashes you again and again and again, you still know there is nothing else beside association with devotees and Krishna consciousness. Am I right? Many of you thought that. I hope so. That kind of underlining conviction has to be there, Prabhus and mothers, in the heart of everyone. That underlining conviction comes from where? Surrendering. Even if it just for a moment, even a moment of surrender to Krishna can actually have a permanent impact on a living entity's eternal life. Believe me, I felt like crying when I read this verse this morning. Such a secret. Be honest to yourself. Each of you, you have to agree with me. At one point in your life, you did want to surrender. And you really like emotional, like, yes, my Lord, I really want to surrender. Come on, say yes or no. Yes. Thank you. I do this. If rascal like me can do this sometime, but then of course I fall back. I forgot about the surrender, going on the forgetting Krishna. But still we came, and this verse is so much, and Prabhupada put 3 times in the purport, different way. So what is the value of prolonged life? I asked myself this morning, which is wasted, inexperienced by the years in this world. Prabhupada writes, better one moment of full consciousness, because that will enable him to search after his ultimate interest. Even one moment of surrender has a permanent result. Can you value that statement, Prabhupada, right? Wow! In one sense, we are free because we all are here. I'm sure many times in your life, you probably felt that, and you did express with raised hand. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a famous verse. Ami tumar hoye jodi bole ekbar, Krishna tare bhava sindhu par. One time, if you raise hand, you know how to raise hand? Just do it like that. My Lord Radha Shama Sundar. Say it loudly. My Lord Radha Shama Sundar. Through Srila Prabhupada. Please deliver me, take me home. Please deliver me, take me home. Let me serve your divine couples in Golok Vrindavan. Thank you. That was very powerful. Because Prabhupada made it like this in the purport. If you look at it, you feel like a goosebump, like the way Prabhupada writes, his ecstasy. Even he goes on and just forgets. He actually felt that way. At some point, he will come back and will remember the sweet taste of that total abandonment and total surrender to Krishna. It is actually very sweet taste. It is the most wonderful position to be in. There is no safer position to be in. But still, we fight, we resist. Something I discovered in last few months in my teaching Chaitanya Bhagavatam. I'm not a teacher, but they put me there, so I'm serving in a sense, serving. Sometimes we look for different way to adjust the situation. Anybody ever does that? Maybe you're not aware. I was experienced, like always adjusting, so that I can be happy. Why you are adjusting? So I can be happy, comfortable, stable, secure, and list goes on. But still, deep down in the consciousness, we know that Krishna at some point is going to expect more surrender. Come on, be honest. Anybody never felt? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page. So, a Vaishnava who introduced this conception of surrender, here Prabhupada, sometimes he may do, or our ISKCON gurus, he may do it in a cutting way. A person may not even realize how much mercy he has received. But there will be some point in time, by the mercy of that Vaishnava, that he did not compromise presenting Krishna's teachings. There will be some point in time when the soul, you and me, will remember that exposure to Krishna. That is the value of presenting pure devotional service. And we see that our previous acharyas would not compromise. Prahlad Maharaj, immediately I thought, he would not compromise with his father. He was not afraid in presenting anything other than surrender to the Lord. So I find when I was reading a lot of these different quotes from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, recently I was, in order to prepare my other classes, some quote I found is like a striking. I was reading one quote yesterday about independence. This is a very nice tool. I really started meditating on it. The question is, what is actual independence? Everybody really likes to be independent, don't you? I mean, ask yourself. You do. You don't have to answer. I'm answering for you.
Yes.
Because deep down you do. It is one of the characteristics of being in the material world is that we like our independence. Leave me alone. Maybe you didn't say it, but that's how you feel sometimes. We don't want anybody telling us what to do. We don't want to become completely dependent upon anybody, because we become completely dependent upon somebody in the material world is a sign of misfortune. And you read this Varnashram Dharma. Brahman means he's not dependent on anyone. Yeah, I want to be like that. It's true. As soon as you become completely dependent upon somebody, then you are obliged. You have to do so many things that you don't want to do, but you feel like you have to do because I am dependent on that person for job. I will have no salary or money or whatever. Then we always try to make some kind of separate arrangements so that we can gradually release ourselves from the clutches of that dependence. But when we try to release ourselves from the clutches of that dependence, then we have to become dependent on, can somebody fill up that dot? No, somebody else. First come to reality. Don't act like it's just symbol, humble devotee. Everything is Krishna, I know. But somebody, that part we don't think. I don't like to be under this president. Well, you will be under somebody.
Our mind.
Thank you. This is we need to remember. But we don't realize it. Or we may think at least this is better type of dependence. When I'm dependent on this guy, it's better than depend on her or him. It is better than previous one. Yes, we do think. And actually, that is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur talks in his quote. He is described what is actually independence. And I'm going to read the quote for you. In quote. To try to become God is non-devotional. The desire to become independent in this world means to become a servant of others. Everybody heard it? Did you hear it? Material independence is simply a covered form of dependence. Should I read that one more time?
Yes.
Material independence is simply a covered form of dependence. Complete independence is obtained by becoming dependent on the Lord, who is full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, and desiring only to serve him. As long as the living entities hold the rope of the Lord's mercy, they are known as his servants. Those who think themselves self-dependent or independent should know that they are actually dependent on others. Only those who depend on the Supreme Lord are truly independent. When we attain actual independence, then the conception that we are eternally dependent on Sri Hari becomes prominent. Any object that is complete, whole, is transcendental. That is the important point to explain. The end of the quote. So, I always find some example of Prabhupada, and I'm going to end with this example. Because everything Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, I find Prabhupada says in a different format, sometimes appealing to my level. Prabhupada gave an example of a finger. or hands. Do you know the function of the fingers? Right. Grab something, touch something. Prabhupada gave that example that I don't know if anybody of you ever asked that question to yourself. Am I complete? Am I complete or not complete? Did Krishna make me complete? Ask that question. The soul is complete, but there are different kind of completeness. There is different between Krishna's completeness and our completeness. Krishna is independently, eternally complete, but our dependently complete. This is what I found from Prabhupada's explanation. He said about the fingers, yes, finger can touch, finger can grab, finger can write, do so many things. But that functionality and utility of the finger is complete as long as it is connected with the body. If the finger is off from the body, what finger can do? Similarly, our completeness is always complete when we depend on Krishna eternally. And this is the purpose of these 5 key points of surrender. No, I'm not going to say. Can somebody help me with this? What are the 5 purpose driven in Bhagavad Gita?
Always think of Krishna. Worship Krishna. Serve Krishna. Surrender.
Share. Very good. Thank you. Kol Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. I'm sorry, I just went off little time. Anybody? Yes, Mother Ekadashi.
Thank you very much for the next class. So one of the points one of the points is to share with others. And then when you were speaking about the ways to tolerate, the first one was being careful about when we're sharing, that we don't, kind of say too much at once. Was that the point of that first one?
There are 4 types I found from Bhagavad Gita. What did you say? First one was?
The first one, I thought it was about when you want to say something, not to say it all, or not.
Oh, the first one is no, urges. It could be anything.
Oh.
Any urges. You just restrain.
Oh, so just like controlling the tongue.
Yeah, whatever. There are Bacha Vega, Manasa Krodha Vega, anger, irritation, so many. And believe me, this process that given by Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami Path, it works 100%, provided we take shelter of it. Good sadhana, morning good sadhana is the best way to overcome all those. So that's first. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. Any other? Otherwise, we can close it here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bancha Kalpataru Vishnu Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha. Patitanam Pavan.